take us back. So first of all, James, I'm happy you're here, man.
Glad to
Yeah,
be
I
here,
like
bro.
chatting with you every time we do. So I'm grateful you're able to be here today, and we can kind of chop it up and go through some things. So first and foremost, I was gonna say your transition leaving high school, but I kind of want to back it up a bit further.
Yeah.
So you were not born in Canada. No, you were born in Nigeria,
Yeah,
if I have it correct.
I was born in Nigeria. Then when I was 15, I moved to Canada. So I finished high school in Nigeria there.
Mm-hmm.
I was done. I went to a pretty good school. It was pretty chill.
Nice.
See like friends with a couple of people from back then. Turned 15, finished like my grade 12 there, and moved to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So like how it was in my family was that like we all kind of knew we wanted to like get our education like outside of the country.
Yeah.
And hopefully like try and see how life is over here, and like because we were like going back and forth from Nigeria to Canada to the US because we had like family there, so like once in a while.
Okay, you already had
Yeah.
been. You weren't just out of nowhere
No.
blindfolded through a dart at a map, and you're like, "That's where we're moving to."
Well, yes and no.
Yeah?
Alright, so
I love it.
so my aunts live in Calgary, so like Calgary was always like a place we went like for summers, just like we're really close with the family over there.
Yeah.
So the idea of moving to Canada was always a thing, but like US was always the thing. So like my oldest brother went to like Florida Tech.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So like we used to go visit him for the summer, and I think one time I went by myself. I remember I spent like a summer with him, entire summer with him, which was crazy.
Yeah?
Crazy.
You were in like high school at that time?
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, dude, it was fucking crazy.
And you went to Florida.
Cause I think maybe I'm like an inch shorter from back then.
Yeah. Jesus.
So, you know how like American schools like start a month before Canadian schools.
Oh, really?
August.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
September,
no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So like, yeah. So you're like in high school, university.
No, it's like
Dude, like
blended a little bit.
No. Like, so I was in high school, but like I was like hanging out with university students in like Frosh Week.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no.
Yeah. So I was like, yo, this is actually crazy. And like this, because American school, so it's like Greek life.
Yep.
So like fraternity, my brother was in a fraternity too.
I love it.
But like the fraternity was like proper though. Like I said like they're proper like the school's like full of like aerospace engineers. Like he was my brother did aerospace engineering.
Smart guy. Yeah.
Really smart guys and really responsible guys. So like you get to the life out there, but like you don't go too crazy, which I respect.
What was when you said that summer like that was crazy when you visited him? What was something that like stands out that you'd be willing to share? If it doesn't sound great and you're reflecting on it, you're like, Glenn, cut it out of the show. I'll cut it out of the show. Just for you, James.
It was no, I didn't do anything crazy. It was just like, in one of the residents, they had like a party. I guess I don't even know if like I don't even know what kind of party it was. It was like, yeah, like imagine a bunch of lit people. Just like the bounce house wasn't the fun part, but that was the atmosphere. It was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can't not have fun if you're in or around a bouncy castle.
Exactly.
Like nobody's pouting like adjacent to one. That's just.
But it was crazy. There were like people like just getting turned. Then my brother and his friends were like playing soccer there.
Yeah.
And they were like just frat bros just hanging out. It was a crazy vibe. So.
Amazing.
That was me. Like that was like, cause I remember I think that trip was like me meeting like the dean of the program, and I think I met him, and kind of showed interest in the school. So I got like maybe like a grand scholarship or something just by doing that, and because my brother was alum.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it was like that. That was the point of like me going to the school and stuff,
definitely.
right? So that was like in maybe I was in like grade 12 back in Nigeria, and like the summer before I left, right? So that was the idea. So I go to Florida Tech because my brother was there, and but then life kind of just happened.
Yeah.
Exchange rate between the naira and the US dollar got really bad, so the school became way more expensive. So, but that happened later on. So trying to remember, like trying to piece out the timeline. So but before that, the idea was that like I still had to do 1 year of extra education because I was 15. I couldn't like go to university when I was 15, so I had to be like at least 16.
Yeah.
All right. So, it was go do like university prep in Canada. So there was one school like everyone from my high school back in Nigeria went to. That people wanted to like leave the country.
Yeah.
So it was the school was in Hamilton. My sister actually ended up going there.
Oh, no kidding.
And so I had like maybe 3 people from my high school class go there, 3 or 4. But like I knew people that were going there. So
Yeah.
that was originally the idea. So like already like applying to the school and stuff. Next thing I know, my parents were like, "Oh nah, there's a school in Winnipeg." Right? I was like, at first I was like, "Okay, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to go with my friends."
Yeah.
And then somehow they're like, "No, this other school is good." Blah blah blah. I was like, "Okay, I never heard of Winnipeg." Right? So, so boom, I get to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And it was like a culture shock, dude.
Really?
I lived so this wasn't like a prep school like I thought it was gonna be. It was a high school in a university.
Whoa. Weird.
So sick.
Yeah?
Oh my goodness, bro. I like one of the best experiences of my life. One of the best 1 years of my like single year of my life.
No kidding.
So basically I lived off campus too.
Yeah.
So it was like a house that was owned by this Guatemalan lady. Lovely lady.
Yeah,
she
like her. That's awesome.
She took care of like all of us, like we were kids. Her husband was there, Rodolfo. He was like
Rodolfo?
yeah.
Like actually?
Dude.
That's awesome. Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
Put it at the top of the baby name list, man.
Dude, he
was
was
awesome.
like this dude was like didn't see it. I don't even think he spoke English, but dude was hella cool. Just kinda sat there.
Mm-hmm.
In the living room, got a dog, just watched like TV all the time. No one ever went to the living room. Everyone was in the kitchen, the basement. So it was like me, or like it was like a student house. So I think she had like a deal with like the universities and high schools there.
Oh,
so
cool.
like international students like stayed with her. So it was like, so there was me, another Nigerian kid.
Yeah.
David. Shout out to David.
Shout out to
He
David.
was. This was the nicest guy I've ever met, dude. He was like 6'5", probably could lift a car, right?
What? Just a unit.
Okay, the guy kind of looks like Giannis, like people like Giannis.
I love it.
Bro.
Yeah.
But like maybe 5 inches shorter or whatever. But nicest guy
Still
ever.
6'5".
Super nice dude. He was in the University of Manitoba at the time.
Yeah.
But I think we were like around the same age too, so we vibed. And then there was like a couple kids from Korea that lived with us. They went to University of Winnipeg.
Oh, okay.
And then one other guy, Robbie, who was in like doing the same program I did. I forget where it's from, but like somewhere like North Africa.
Oh, okay. Like Northern Africa.
So that's how the house was.
Yeah.
And then the school life there was super sick. So I get there during orientation. I met a couple people. So I ended up meeting guys on the basketball team. I ended up becoming friends with them. I didn't join the basketball team for like up until Christmas. Mm-hmm. Then there was a tournament, and it was either you stay and do the tournaments, or I go to Calgary and spend Christmas with like my family. My brother that was in Windsor, was also going there. So I was like, okay, I chose to spend with family. So like I left the team, but I was like still like hanging out with the team.
Yeah,
even the coaches were cool with me being around and stuff, right?
You picked family over the team. Oh no.
Yeah, but I didn't go like I didn't. Basketball wasn't like my thing. I was a soccer guy, right? So
Heck yeah.
So that was really my thing. So the experience was pretty cool because the school was so unique in the sense where it was like we did like the regular like just like English, math, but it was always like calculus and algebra.
Okay, like smart people math.
Yeah, basically I got there and realized like it was a smart people school.
Yeah.
So in my head I was like, oh, what am I doing here, right? But then I was like, okay, it was whatever. it was whatever. I remember like I was like passing my classes and stuff. I was like, oh, this stuff's not hard.
Yeah.
Right, so that kind of made me feel good about myself because I remember like one of my buddies, Jakob, dude's a doctor now, right? Dude, most of them are so like doing so well in life is crazy, right? So I remember like going to like physics class and like it was regular. I was good at physics back in Nigeria, so it was easy for me. But I'll never forget this one thing. Like I don't know whether like I made this up in my head because it doesn't seem real. Like I think back and I remember I messaged all my buddies and like verified it, but I don't know if that happened.
Yeah.
So we're doing the regular curriculum and it was right. I think it was right before like spring break.
Yeah.
And the prof was like, "Oh yeah, we're going off topic. We're gonna do 2 classes on why the moon landing was fake."
No.
I swear to God. And
2 classes.
We did like I think it was 2 classes, right? So.
Oh my goodness! Any assignments or anything on that? Like.
No, I think there was like 1 question like the midterm we had after that, right? But like it tied into like what we were learning before that. But like this dude was like convinced and he was trying to teach us why it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right? so I remember doing that, and like I was like, wow, this is odd. And then spring break happens, they would come back to school. No, not spring break. I think it was like maybe it was Christmas break. I would come back to school and I was like back to normal. And we just never referenced them to like that one question.
Never
like,
talked about
just
it.
Just never talked about it. Just went back to like that never happened.
What? That's why it's like kind of like a weird memory for you.
Yeah,
but you're like, I don't know if it happened, but it did.
Yeah, because I remember like
Nobody talked about it.
I brought it up to everyone I met.
Yeah.
Like when I'm just hanging out with my friends in school, and like at Laurentian, when I'm here, at least I always bring up like the moon landing stuff, right? Like I don't know what to think about it. But I was like I was like educated about someone's belief. And I had like all this information. I was like, okay, yeah. So the radiation of the metal, that was like all that stuff. I knew what to say. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So I remember that.
We got the question right. We got the question on the midterm right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's the part that freaks
so
me out.
so definitely facts.
That's
right?
so funny.
So yeah, so that was my experience there, and like besides that, like the school was cool. Like it was basically some of our classes had university students in it, because I think if you take our class, it was like 1 credit for them.
Right.
So I took like psychology. I never took psychology before back in Nigeria. So it was high school taking psychology. Yeah. I don't know if that's part of the curriculum here in like regular high schools. No way.
No.
So I took a psychology class. I took a global issues class, which was pretty sick.
Yeah. Was it teacher or just what you were learning?
No, the teacher, like, they're like just teachers, like, and I remember the prof, she was like a super hippie type of teachers.
Oh, teaching global issues?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh my god.
That's a good contrast. I like that.
I remember like the class was cool because like it was a class, but like it was not like super, like it was serious, but like it wasn't like calc. You know what I mean? It wasn't like like even the literature was pretty sick too.
Yeah.
And
what?
Yeah, so this is, I gotta tell you one thing that happened in that global issues class, right? Then we can like move on from my high school life. Alright, so I remember in like one of the first classes, we like live campus. We just walk around because the university campus, right? And it was dead in downtown. So I remember there was like a park. So we just left class and we just all walked to the park. Yeah. And I ever seen those like Jubilee videos where they're talking about, if you've experienced this, step forward.
Oh no.
So they did one of those about privilege, and I remember like
no way. No.
I remember like by the end of it, it was like me and this like 2 black girls. Well, and my roommate Robbie too.
Yeah. Shout out to Robbie. That's awesome.
Right, so we were we finished that, and they're like, yeah, man, like we respect our privilege, you know, one of those type shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember doing that. I was like, yo, what is this, bro?
What are we
like,
doing?
So I went from like living in the country like 99% of people were all black, right?
Yeah.
And then like I traveled, and like it was just, I was a kid, so in my head it was like, oh, this is just like life. Like I wasn't like super like hyper focused about like race and shit like that.
Yeah, you didn't feel at any point like somebody was holding you back.
Yeah, like I just,
it's crazy that you didn't realize that, or you didn't see that or experience it until here. Yeah,
but like I just think that I was a kid, right? I was a kid.
Yeah. Like
living in my parents' place back home, so like I didn't really like live life back there. You know
sure,
what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I remember getting there, and I was like, and I was kind of confused. I remember like that was like a troll moment to me and my friends. I remember like me and those, because these were like first class. So I was in like tight with the other 2 girls. But I remember after that, after class we went to like one of the university like common rooms. I was just cracking up about it, like, yo, dude, what is going on here, bro? And yeah, I ended up like bonding with them. I ended up being friends for the entirety of the like.
And that's how it happens.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So I was like, this is
oh my goodness, dude.
So this is wild. So like, I low key kind of like, milked it. I low kind of milked it during the school year. So we're having like classes where we were talking about race and shit like that. And and like.
And you have some hippie white lady teaching it.
Yeah, but she was so cool too.
Yeah,
though.
no, she sounds great.
Cool. She was so cool too, and I remember like, and some of the other students were like. Some of the other students were like really like into it, you know what I mean? Like they were like, yeah, man, like let's like, I respect your struggle, dude. Like, which I love. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't have to like watch out for this person, right? But I like.
I can just picture Somebody walking up to you, you're just milking it. You're like, thanks, man.
Like that actually happened.
It's been tough.
Like I didn't know what to say, so I gotta lean into it. So like, yeah, man, thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, right? So
I love it.
I remember like topics would come up because we talked about like history and shit like that. And me and like the other students, we had like black students in class, and we just kind of look at each other like, yeah, this is what's going on right now. But like it was all fun and games, and then so that was that class, and the other class that like made me like realize that this time in Winnipeg was like dope was my literature class. So Winnipeg, my literature class.
Oh, literature.
Right?
Okay.
So basically, it was the school was like really into art. So there was like a ballet school attached to our school too, and there was like art school, I think. So there was like the museum. So we had to like in class we go to a museum and look at like paintings. I watch all I speak of painting and write an essay about it. So I think that was when my brain like that's when like the part of my brain that's like good at film now.
Yeah. I
feel like that's where that first spark kind of happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember it was like there's a picture of a girl. She was wearing like a red dress, and that was all the picture. I remember I wrote like an essay. I got an 89. Like back in Nigeria, I sucked at freaking essays.
Let's go.
I sucked at it. Like I cannot keep. I cannot like stay like consistent for like 3 lines. Like I could be writing something about in like first person, my third line I'm writing third person.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Switch it up on
Switch it up, but like the story's there.
Yeah.
So I remember doing this class and they're like, okay, write about this painting. And I remember my friends like basketball team like, yo, bro, I don't know what to do. I was like, I don't know what to do either. So like I remember 2 days before I like actually sat down, and 2 days before, like doing an assignment 2 days before the deadline for me back then was like, oh, I actually care. Yeah. It wasn't like I was waiting for the night before, right?
Yeah.
So 2 days before, I remember I sat down and wrote it, and I kept on writing stuff. I was like, wow. And basically I was talking about like, oh, the red meant this, and like the stroke of the brush was this, and the forehead. And like, so I remember I wrote an essay about how this girl like is rich because there was pearl in this. Like there was no emotion in her eyes. Like there was a pearl in her dress. There was no emotion in her eyes. She had a big forehead. So I wrote about everything. I was like, wow, I just made a whole story about this chick from one picture. Like, well, this is cool. And the professor like called me and said like, oh, James, you're good at this stuff. I was like, yeah, thanks. But I was like hanging out with basketball guys, right?
Yeah.
And we're like jocks, I guess, or like back of the class, kind of making noise and making jokes and stuff. But like, mind you, just everyone was smart on top of that, right? But she was like, oh yeah, James, just don't let like anyone hold you back. Well, I remember hearing that stuff. And like through the school year, it was actually kind of chill because all those guys I like paid attention in class eventually, but like the first few weeks. So that happened. So I think that was like the first like, oh, I can actually like make stories up just from anything, right?
Yeah.
So I think that it like kind of sums up like my life in Winnipeg there, so my high school life. And then I like finished school. Originally I was gonna stay there and I was gonna do physics. So my buddy like Jakob is a doctor now. I think he wanted to do physics as well. So I applied. I got into the physics program, and my parents were like, "Oh, what are you gonna do with physics degree?" Blah blah.
Teach physics.
I was gonna do physics,
which isn't like the best option. There's still a bunch more to do after that.
There's so much stuff I could just have switched out. You know what I mean? But like I got into the school already, lived there, had friends. I knew I had a place to stay.
Yeah.
Like I knew I was gonna get a job because my boys were working at the mall there. I think I feel like full locker like chances and stuff like that.
Nice.
So like I kind of knew that like I'll figure stuff out, trying to like grow up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then my parents like, oh no, what are you gonna do with physics degree? My plan was like do a couple years in physics, then transfer to the University of Manitoba and do architecture.
Nice.
So that was like always my dream, being an architect, right?
Sick.
So that didn't work out. Went back to Nigeria for like 6 months. Didn't do nothing. So I just kind of stayed at home and just every day. I remember I woke up because I was jet lagged when I go back.
Makes sense.
So like, I think I kind of stayed jet lagged the entire time.
What's that flight?
The flight back?
Yeah. Well, where's the flight from? What, Calgary or Winnipeg?
So it was I think it was like Winnipeg to Toronto. Then from Toronto.
Of course.
Oh, dude, it was like Winnipeg to Toronto, then Toronto to like.
You don't go straight to Nigeria, no?
You can.
Yeah.
But it's more expensive.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So we did I think Toronto to like Germany.
Yeah, like
and
somewhere.
Germany to back to Nigeria.
Yeah.
Because the company my dad worked for had like a deal with like Lufthansa.
Oh, that's sick.
So like if you like booked it through like their channel, it got like a discount. So we always had to stop in Germany every time. But like that's why we could like afford to travel lots, right?
That's sick.
So I went back 6 months. was just basically. I think that's when I bonded with my younger sister. I think she's 20. Nice. She's turning 25 this year. So that's me and my younger sister. We bonded because she was like going to school, and like every morning I would just be awake. So I started watching like basketball. Yeah. Because like back in Nigeria, ESPN early in the morning was like super late. So it was like all LA games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So then I was like, I used to see like Miami LeBron or Cavs. I can't really remember. I think it was Miami LeBron. So that's why I really started watching basketball. Yeah. And then every morning I see my sister get ready for school. They would chit chat. And then, I don't know, my parents just kind of let me do my thing. I was back home, I just hung out with my friends. Didn't really do much. But I knew I was going to start university come January, right? Right. So that happens, then in January, then boom, end up in Laurentian.
Yeah,
so, how? Okay.
How does that happen?
So, while I'm in Winnipeg, this Florida thing was still like the idea, right?
Yeah, with your brother.
Yeah, my brother. So then the exchange rate happens, and then I find out like, after I already got in. So back in Nigeria, I'm doing like SAT prep. So I go to like this school for SAT prep.
Yeah, because you have to submit your SAT scores in order to... Okay, yeah, that's right.
And I remember like one of my best friends, TJ, I think he stayed with us for a while because his family's from the US. And then I can't remember what happened, but like I think his mom and his sisters moved back to the US. But because of how close he was with my family, he just kind of like lived with us. Nice. Like I can't remember the full details about it, but I remember we went to like SAT prep together, which was fucking sick. Like I had one of my best friends like living with me. It was fucking crazy. Amazing, right? Yeah. And we did like SAT prep. It was pretty cool. Like I did pretty well on the SATs. He did pretty well on the SATs, and I get into Florida Tech. I think for electrical engineering.
Nice, Jesus.
So, I was like amped up. Okay, electrical engineering. In my head, I was like, when I get there, I'm just gonna find a way to switch to architecture. Perfect. Yeah. Right, there's some stuff to like design and draw because that was my thing. Like,
let me get in. And then
So, nice. And I already knew I knew like my brother's friends. I already met them. I knew I was gonna join the fraternity, all that stuff, right? So, but then I found out like, oh, you can't go anymore because it's too damn expensive, and like. It just like it was hard on my parents, right? Because like it's a lot of money. So then I think at the time like most schools would close application besides Laurentian. I think that's the story I heard, which was like logical to me. Like
makes sense.
It was logical to me, right? So I just got in to Laurentian because I think that was the last school open. Yeah. I went to an agency to apply for like schools and stuff because my parents were like too busy to like actually, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, right? Yeah. So honestly, if I actually did pay attention, then I probably would have like picked a different school. Yeah. But it was like there's already a system like in place, right? So I get into Laurentian. I remember I show up. It was like freaking January 5th or 7th, one of them. And my birthday's January 9th, so I knew I was gonna be like alone on my birthday, right? Yeah. With no friends. So I get to Laurentian and it's like I get to Sudbury. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I'm in Toronto, and then you know like there's the airport in Toronto, like YYZ. What was the name?
Yeah, Pearson.
Pearson, right? So we weren't taking off from like Pearson. We're taking off from like the smaller one.
Oh, Billy Bishop.
Yeah.
On the island there.
Yeah. So I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? Right? Yeah, so I get there and I'm like, and the flights were all delayed because of like a snowstorm.
Of course.
For like, dude, it was like 7 hours.
Right.
And
like obviously there's a snowstorm at the time.
It was crazy. I remember I was sitting there and like it was just like Laurentian University hoodies. Everywhere, just students just like sitting down. And like I'm thinking back there, like everyone looked so young. It was like all first years, right?
Yeah.
And then I saw like a few Cambrian College and College Boreal, right? Hoodies.
Yeah, like, oh, they're all going to Sudbury.
Like everyone's going to Sudbury. I didn't even know those schools were. So I just saw.
I saw Laurentian.
I just saw Laurentian and a bunch of like other colleges. So like, okay, these are students all going to school, right? So I felt like hella comfortable. I just kind of stayed there for like 7 hours. Eventually, we get a flight, land, fucking blizzard, and then I gotta take a cab, right? From the airport to the campus. I was staying on campus, and I remember like the cab driver showed up. They were like a bunch of them at the airport already because they kind of knew, right?
Yeah, as it goes.
I remember I shared the cab with like this 3 girls I met, and they're all like pretty cool. Actually, I ended up being like, kind of friends with one because I think she lived in my building as well. But it was like a good intro. They're all really nice.
Oh,
and
sick!
stuff.
Yeah.
And like it wasn't like their first semester. It was my first semester, so I kept on asking them questions.
Oh, okay, that's easy. Yeah.
So they kind of like helped me out and stuff, right?
That's nice of them. Yeah.
So that's how I ended up here. I remember like the cab was like not expensive at all, which was like, but now if you take a cab from like the airport to the university, it's probably a lot of money.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's how I ended up here. I got to school and yeah. That's
Amazing.
that's how I ended up in Sudbury, and
I love it.
Since, yeah.
I love it. Oh, that's awesome. When would you decide to you said not electrical engineering, that's what you would have done in the States. Would you
Mechanical.
Yeah. Okay. How soon did you switch out of that?
Oh my goodness.
Because I know that I know the end result, but the people watching and listening don't. So I'm wondering how soon into it were you like, I got to figure out, because you still wanted to do architecture, no?
Yeah. Like architect, it's still in me, dude. Like
yeah,
still in
like
me.
You need that creative outlet for sure.
Yeah,
like some form of.
No, like right now, I have an idea of how I'm gonna mix it.
Mm-hmm.
I have an idea of how I'm gonna mix it. Like, I'm working on it now, but I feel like, I feel like I feel grateful for everything I've in my life, because right now where I'm at, like mentally and all my experience, I'm like, okay, let me like be patient and just kind of, I have like a kind of a real direction on taking like my career path.
Mm-hmm.
You know, more than anything.
Nice.
So So that transition was, so I got there in mechanical engineering, and it honestly, my first year wasn't that crazy. It wasn't like hard or anything. It was just like I went in with the mentality that like, oh, I'm gonna do one semester here and switch to a different school, because I'd never heard of Laurentian. I felt so isolated there, and my brother was in the University of Windsor at the time. My other brother was in the University of Windsor at the time.
It's far.
Yeah, and I knew my sister was like gearing to come to Canada, and I think she was gonna go to Carleton. She ended up going to Carleton, right? So okay, I might just switch to Carleton because like she is gonna be there.
Yeah, and there's the architecture there as well.
Yeah. So that's basically where my head was at, and then I get to school, and like it wasn't easy, man. Like I got there and I was in West Residence, so that was not for first years. So I remember I get there and like I moved in with a bunch of like SPAD boys, like.
Yeah.
Sports administration, and they're like third years, like fourth year kind of guys. So they're all older. It was like just a very new environment. Like just it was kind of crazy. But luckily enough, there was like I ended up being cool with them actually throughout the school year.
Yeah.
A couple challenges, you know what I mean. But there were a few guys on the floor that were like hella cool.
Nice.
Right across from me were the cheerleaders. They were super nice too, right? And but down the hall from me was this Nigerian dude, Godwin, who I ended up becoming buddies with, and then he had a buddy that lived in UC, Chuka, who used to come over to hang out with him and play video games. Nice. And then I like met them, so that's how I like met those two Nigerian dudes. Yeah. And I'm still like super tight with Chuka now. Like Gordon moved, and like he's ever in Canada, like I'm just gonna link up with him.
I love it, yeah.
But me and Chuka were still homies, like in the group chat and everything, right? So I was blessed. And in engineering, I remember, this is crazy.
Let's go.
So I remember engineering communications. I'm in this class, and I'm sitting alone. I don't really know anyone. And engineering communication is basically English class for engineering students. It's like, just learn how to do your resume, how to like write up reports, all that stuff, right? So I remember after class, I see a guy. I know there's a bunch of Nigerian kids, like 5, 6 of them. I see a guy. I'm looking at the guy. And then the guy looks at me. And I'm like, dude, I know you. I would just kind of look at each other like, yo, Chrisland. So that's the elementary school I went to.
What?
Yeah. So I went to the same elementary school back in
That's
Nigeria.
insane.
That's insane. Oh, dude, I've seen a guy on the bus that went to University of Toronto that went to the same elementary school. He came to visit one of his buddies at Laurentian.
Just
those random thing. Like I think the same year too. I was like, dude, I know this guy. And he ended up like following us back to go hang out in UC the same year, right? So my boy's name is Godson, right? So I meet Godson, he chooses me to the other Nigerian kids. So then I make like those group of friends too, right? So I think I was just blessed that like within like 2 weeks I made like guys that I was I was comfortable with, and then my roommates and I actually started bonding, and then they kind of mixed the groups, you know what I mean?
Amazing, yeah.
So so that's how it was. So I'm well in engineering, so taking classes together. At first it was pretty chill.
Yeah.
Besides like applied mech, which was crazy. But like I didn't love it. I didn't like it. Like it sucked. So I knew it wasn't for me. Then in my third year, or like no, my second year. Because I'm like a semester behind, so like my math is kind of off for the years, but like whatever. So like my second year, I remember I took a photography class because I needed an elective, and then I loved it, but I had to drop it because I remember I met with the dean of like engineering. I was like, oh, this class isn't gonna do anything for you. But I was like, oh shit, that sucks, right? So then I flunked out of school.
Oh, okay.
I flunked out of school. I had to like write like I had to like just. No, I was on probation. So I was like, okay, yo, this is crazy. So I was talking to my parents, okay, yo, I'm not enjoying this. I'm on probation. And they're like, yo, keep trying. So I tried again for another year. I remember halfway through the
Same program?
Same program.
Yeah.
So I remember, like, this was second year. So I remember I dropped, like, a bunch of classes. Like, yo, I can't do this. I remember I was, like, taking 3 classes. I ended up taking photography. Okay, so one of my friends, Dale, I just kind of met him through this, just in the school. Super nice guy from, I think Brampton. Also from Scarborough. And he had he did a photography, took a photography class, right? And they did help with, like, one assignments. So we go to, like, one of his classmates' places, Cullen, right? It's actually crazy now I'm thinking about it, right? So that was my buddy on campus. He's doing photography. I'm like, taking photography because he needs help with the assignment. And he needed, like, a subject and everything. So me and his roommates, we would volunteer. I think his roommates also in the class. We volunteered to help. So we'll go to Cullen's place. And then Cullen is also, now he's a film kid.
Yeah.
Like, he's a film kid. I feel like you should talk to him, too. That's someone I ask.
I love it, yeah.
Right? So
we'll get the list after.
Yeah,
I love it. I love this shit.
So Cullen, I made friends with them. And I'm like, this is so cool. So me and Cullen, like, I ended up living together in, like, 2 different places. That was my best friend. Like, we're playing Elden Ring together, like, last week, right? Right, that's one of the guys like working on films together. Like, that's one of the guys. So that's how it happened. I was like, yo, this photography stuff is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Then I remember like the next semester I just took a class. I went back to take a photography class, and I was like, yo, this is great.
Amazing.
So that's it. Then through taking that class, Cullen was kind of working for one of the profs, and he was like, oh, this James guy like is like really into photography and stuff. So I ended up working with him. Right, and that's how like I started getting my foot kind of into like the film world, right? But at this time, like, engineering was still, like, killing me. So I convinced my parents, I'm leaving this engineering thing. Yeah. So I dropped all my engineering classes. So I decided, let me kind of just take because this is crazy. Your elective for first year engineering, for me, was, like, first year core economics classes.
Okay.
Right? Jeez. Usually your electives are, like, easy shit, right?
Yeah.
So, but perspective wise, the economics classes were easy compared to like that.
Especially if you did not care even remotely about the mechanical engineering stuff, it was going to be much harder.
No, I tried to care. Like, in my head, I was like, yo, like engineering, architecture, like civil engineering, maybe.
Yeah, semantics.
So economics, I passed those classes. I barely studied. I was like, you just have to listen in class and like pay attention. And, like, once you understand the concepts,
it's really it.
It's really it. Engineering just gotta do all the extra like shit.
Yeah, buy low, sell high. You know?
Dude, man.
I get it.
It's like real world application instantly, right?
Amazing, yeah.
So I did that. So I was like, okay, let me kind of just take a couple of my economics classes just in case, I gotta switch out. And I just put my parents like, yo, kid, just like graduate with some shit, right? Well, they didn't say that, but that's how it felt. You know what I mean? That's how it felt. So, I'm taking architecture classes. Now, during that summer, I stayed in Sudbury. I worked on a portfolio. I met with the dean of the program, the program coordinator. He gave me a tour. I showed him my interest. And back then, I used to play Sims on my mom's laptop back in Nigeria, but I also had like one of those like architecture tables, the drawing tables. Yeah, I got the T-square and everything
with that sliding thing that comes up and
100%, bro. And I remember back in Nigeria, the high school I went to was pretty cool. So I took technical drawing from grade 11 to 12, which was like pretty cool. So we're doing like house plans, everything from grade 10 to 12, right? And it was. I honestly, I'm thinking about that was like universal level education right there.
Yeah, for sure.
But I love that shit. And like most of my friends back in Nigeria who loved it. It was like we started to draw stuff and like and I was doing like advanced like calc too back in Nigeria. Cause like you decide whether you want to do it was called further math, but it was basically like calculus and then some differentiations, just kind of like harder stuff. And I remember like back in Nigeria, you had to like pick if you want to go into like the science, social sciences, you want to go into engineering, like you pick this classes. So I did that, and like it was I didn't really, I don't think I ever failed a class back in Nigeria, back in high school. I did. It was, sorry, it was high school, so like you didn't already like failing classes like that.
Yeah.
But so I already knew I had that in me. So during when the architecture like coordinator was showing me like other people's like portfolio, there's a kid that got in based on Sims. I was like, dude, I still have my Sims drawings, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like I kept them with me. So I remember I just I put it together. I gave it to him. I was like, okay, bet you're gonna get in, but not right now because you're already full. But you can take the core classes without taking the shop classes, right?
Yeah,
so then
numbers.
I remember I took design thinking. I forget the other one. But I remember I took design thinking, but I didn't have I didn't have like a workspace in the building, right? So I had to do everything from home, and like when you're in the workspace, you have like second, third year, fourth years, and profs around to kind of help you.
It's way easier environment for it. Yeah.
Yeah, and people are there like sleeping there. I remember my friends, one of my friend Jonathan. I remember I went to see him. I think he had a TV and like his PlayStation. There was someone on his row had, but like people had their TVs there. I saw someone had like a little mattress there.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, these people are working. I was saying like they only sleep 3-4 hours. And in my head, I was like, oh my goodness, I want this life right now. Like, I want, because I remember I was building this, like, little, what's like, build, like, a tiny house that, like, showed, like, light. Like, when light passes through, you have to, like, show time. Some shit like that. I remember, like, I was spending hours in it with a glue gun in my room. I remember, like, I finished it, like, 2 hours before class and I didn't sleep. Show up to class all pumped up. And, like, I remember we'll do, and classes were, like, the longer set classes. I think they're, like, almost 2 hours. Well, almost 3 hours. So I remember like the first half of the class we do like learn stuff. It was like letters, Helvetica, all that crap.
Yeah.
And then second half of the class, we'll go out and draw some shit.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to like use like when we're learning shading, we have to like shade. Like I remember we had to pick a piece of wood and like draw all the details. So like some shit like that, we had to like actually shade it in.
Damn.
And I said, bro, I still have that book with me, and it's like a flex for me.
Damn.
I still have this book. I remember like you submit like your sketchbook at the end of the year, you get graded on it.
Mm-hmm.
So you get graded on your notes, but also all the random stuff you do.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
So I remember I was like, that's why I really learned how to draw like really well. Like I had some crazy drawings in there, right? So I ended up passing the class. I was like, okay, this is it. But then exchange rate got even worse. And at this time, I was already working on campus. So I think I was already working at Urban Planets, like selling clothes at the mall. Mm-hmm. And then I worked for the school, taking pictures, right? And then I kind of working off campus, right? Mm-hmm. Just kind of doing like working like a photographer and stuff, right? So I was like trying to make some money, but like it wasn't enough, dude. Like fees are like 3 times the regular fees, right? So but while I was in it, I taking strict architecture classes, economics class, and then a film class. Mm-hmm. So I think I already did photography. I remember I think form and something else. So I just started meeting more people in the film, and that's how like my life just transitioned more into like film. So then I took the first year architecture classes. They counted as good credits for me. It was a good experience, but I knew I couldn't do another like 4 years, right? So I kind of dropped after 1 year, but my credits were good, and then I just focused on like, okay, let me finish my economics degree, because then I only had like 4 or 5 core classes, and then I spoke with the film. The dean of the program was actually teaching a class, and I talked to him, kind of knew I was in economics, and he was like, "Oh, just do a minor." He kept on trying to get me to like switch into the program completely. I was like, "No, man, I can't." Like that's because you have to take a production class in which like you can't like it's a full semester, so I have to do another 3 years. But I wanted to finish up in 2 years.
So you have to like skip.
Yeah.
Or like you couldn't take it right away. You have to take like wait in it some.
I have to wait like a year. It wasn't even per semester.
Oh,
like a
those
year.
are the worst. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, then like time wise doesn't make any sense. It's too expensive. Like I can't keep putting the pressure on myself and my parents. Like, so let me just finish my economics degree and get a minor in film. So he told me like this is what you need to do. So I was like, okay, I'll take a couple spring classes, and then so that's how I ended up transitioning into film.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Right on. What so supply and demand, eh? That's the whole So when you were kind of looking at like the last year of school and whatnot, did you have like a plan to kind of, or an idea of like, okay, I'll work somewhere for X amount of time full time, or were you just like, okay, I just have to always, like, I want to jump ship and do film, like, as soon as you can?
No,
Like,
man.
working on that.
I didn't know what I was gonna do with my life.
Yeah.
Honestly. Because it was like I lived in a world where it was like engineering. And okay, there's a low hope for architecture.
Yeah.
Dream was crushed. So I was like, okay, I like film. I get economics because it's easier than engineering.
Yeah.
Very practical, and like I did enjoy the economics classes. Very, I learned a lot of stuff. I took like Chinese economics class. That was like pretty cool. You learn about the history of like Abenomics and stuff. It messed up stuff in there.
Yeah, like what?
That's what I was like. I can't I have to like go back and read it because I really really was interested in that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was
It's fascinating.
it was very fascinating. Very,
just not a good ending.
No, but like I learned some stuff, and the classes were pretty cool. I made some good friends in the program, and like I met some very interesting profs.
Yeah.
So,
who was one that you like one of your profs from university that whole time, no matter what program, that you think had the biggest let's say impact, like maybe the coolest prof you had, or like most impact, or most like influential, however you want to kind of take that question?
Oh, easily Jerry Kingsley.
Yeah.
Photographer in town. He's the one that got me to film. Like I still. Like if he needs extra hand on sets, like it's the one that showed me like how to be a professional in film, how to work a camera, like a lot of stuff. How to I did jobs for him. Was always teaching me and stuff.
Yeah.
And like for a while, like me and him met up for coffee. It was like basically a mentor to me, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
yeah,
constantly. So like he's like I'm friends with him. I know he's like his wife and I've seen his daughter grow up. You know what I mean? So it's very. Yeah, he's the one. He's the one that like very influential to me actually, more than anyone. And I was his TA for like a year or a semester too. I didn't even think I had a class with them.
Whoa.
Because all the film profs just all work together, but I don't think he actually taught me any class. I'm trying to remember, because my form class was Andrew David. Yeah, I don't think he actually taught me photography. It was so like someone else that taught me photography.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite story or experience you had with him, where he like maybe showed you something, or you were like, oh, like maybe like a mind-blowing moment type deal, or something like an aha, oh, like something that you were kind of maybe struggling with, and then he kind of came along and you're like, oh, it just made it like that much more.
I won't say this. I won't say there was one.
Like
I won't say there was one specific. I felt that for like a whole year or 2 years. That happened like almost every time I worked with him.
Amazing.
It was very I'm trying to think of one single one. We did a bunch of films. So I worked for the fourth year film students. You do have a production class, and you have to make your own film, right? So they all make a film, like they all shoot their shorts, and it's combined as one big film, right? So I remember I was on set with him, and he trusted me to like kind of like be in charge of like some of the other students of like, okay, let's set up like a bunch of like C-stands here. Let's put a bunch of like sound blankets. Basically, like put up the flags. Just kind of like do grip and electric stuff. And me working with him for maybe months before. So me and Cullen were working with him, and this other person, Francis, they also worked with him as well, right? So, and just by doing that for all those years, and then we had to like work on this production stuff. And it was like it was telling the group, okay, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. Okay, James. You know what to do. I was like, yeah, I kind of know what to do. Yeah, okay. So, okay, let's do this, let's do that. So I was like constantly working. I remember we had to set up a dolly, right? We're putting out the tracks and everything. I remember like I ended up being the dolly grip for it, which was pretty cool. So like I feel like him trusting me with like tasks to do on the film and giving me like a huge like part to play.
Yeah.
When it comes to responsibility and like setting up like sets and stuff like that gave me some confidence in myself. Which after like all like the beat downs of like failing and then couldn't do that, I feel like that kind of helped me. But one specific thing. I can't remember one single thing because there's so many, dude. Like I was like every day, like just like lighting.
Yeah.
Like every little, because I just used to like do shit. You know what I mean? I'll do shit, but not to the point where anything breaks. You'll be like, okay, James, this is how you do it. I was like, okay. Bet. I was trying to remember that. And sometimes I'll forget, but like it was really quick to teach me. I was always like eager to learn. So it was like almost every day I had like the attitude, okay, what am I gonna learn today?
Yeah.
So, but I can't really think of anything specific because like almost every set we worked on So it's always
no
like
kidding.
stuff. Yeah.
That's cool though. I like that kind of confidence instilling through the responsibility of like, hey, I trust you with all these things.
Yeah.
Right? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Right on. Do you as you said, you're still in contact with him today and stuff like that. Yeah. Amazing. Do you kind of have a maybe like idea, or at this point were you like you had graduated, right? Yeah. And you're like, okay, we don't know, we're not sure what we want to do. Were you like you were working on film sets, and then did you what'd you do for work? Like what was kind of right out the gate?
For like after I graduated?
Yep.
Okay, so after I graduated, before then I was working at Home Depot.
Yeah, nice.
So
I love that place.
I want to say Home Depot plays a huge part in my life because of like the people I met there, what I learned, and just like the events around. So those aren't like COVID, right? So I was working at Home Depot, then I graduated, and then because I'm international, like I got my work permits. I was waiting to get my work permits. I was on my study permits, but I applied for my work permits. So I'm like,
so you can do full time or
I can work full time or whatever, right? So
nice.
But at the time I had to like work. Okay, now I don't get my permanent residency, right?
Yeah.
So back then the system was like, oh, you work. It's like a point system. So you work a job in your field and you get this number of points. And back then it was like once you reach that point system, you get invited to apply for a permanent residency, right?
Interesting.
So that's how it was back then. Now it's kind of different because immigration is kind of crazy. So the point system is like it's harder, right? So I think right now I didn't meet the criteria. But actually I think I do now. I'm obviously working on it, right? So, but that's another.
That's a whole avenue.
I don't want to get into that, but so.
Home Depot, right?
Yeah,
during COVID.
Home Depot. So at Home Depot, I needed something full time, right? So I'm applying everywhere. Like I didn't really have like a specific. I was trying to get full time.
Yeah.
Something that like looked nice. You know what I mean? So
yeah, good professional gig.
So for Leon's selling furniture, right?
Love it. Yeah.
So I go to Leon's, and that's probably like the easiest job ever.
Selling
furniture, it's the easiest job ever. Like you learn some like salesman skill, like you have to learn some stuff. So I was like kind of paying attention, YouTubing a bunch of stuff, asking people like little tricks here and there.
Yeah. And, what was something, some sale tip that you're like, that worked?
I think the sale tip that I did was like, if people like. I'm trying to think what works for me because I tried a bunch of like random YouTube stuff.
Yeah. Like, did you ever try? While you're thinking about that, did you ever try the one where it's like some? I heard a buddy say this once. Somebody would walk up and be like, "Whoa, don't trip." And they're like, "What? Over these savings?"
No.
Like,
see, I wish.
Or is that's just not your style? It might not be. Or you might have tried it.
That's more me than anything. I wish I tried some comical stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I was always trying to like I was doing like psychological stuff, right?
Oh, I
was
like
stupid. But
manipulating.
I'm trying to try it. Yeah, basically.
I love it.
Machiavellian crowd.
Yeah.
So.
Oh no.
I think it was more of like. Just chit chatting with them, not even talking about like.
Oh, okay.
Not even talking about what they're trying to buy. Just like bring up a random, like make them like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So make them like you, and like they'll like somewhat feel obligated to buy some shit from you.
You're like, I'm having dinner with them later. They just don't want to buy anything.
Yeah.
And it's weird.
So like that actually worked because I remember like my first day. My first week was my best week there. I sold so much. I think I was like highest in sales for that week.
What?
And I remember like it was because I told everyone it's my first week, so I don't really know what I'm doing. So I just kind of talked, and they asked me like, oh, like I told them I graduated from school, so the conversation always started with like school and stuff. I always like went to something else, and it was always like just like a dad with the family, and like the kids are like trying out the couch or like
like jumping and stuff on it.
So I'm just talking to them about life and stuff, and I was like, you know what, I'll buy this stuff from you. Yeah. That was pretty much it. Then after that, when I actually learned stuff and I tried to actually sell stuff, then I just wasn't saying anything.
So just be honest with people and know nothing. And
you'll
succeed in sales.
I think
love it.
I think it's basically just like get to know the person, and then then you start asking them questions like why exactly. Like you need to know why they're trying to buy a couch. Like once you're asking people about the whys of stuff. I feel like naturally, like if you just genuinely care about people, you like you know what to say.
Yeah.
To kind of help them. Like if a person a bunch of them actually told them like, yo, we actually don't have what you're looking for. Like, go to like try the brick. And like I remember one time, a person went to brick and came out like, oh yeah, they didn't have it there, so they just bought some stuff I recommended. Like that happened a lot. That actually happened a lot.
Like they'd leave.
Yeah.
To look, come back, and be like, oh, you sent us. We'll just, if we're gonna buy something, we're gonna buy something from you.
Because like
crazy.
Because originally I thought like every like other stores had like different. Everyone just kind of had the same thing. It was like mid COVID, no one really had anything. I think our store was the biggest one among like the furniture stores in town. So like we had more variety of stuff.
Yeah.
So they just always like liked my honesty and like, oh God, these are honest with me and stuff, and like you just got to. Like, I got a job offer to work somewhere from just, like, trying to sell something to a guy. He didn't even buy anything from
me. Where's the job offer?
Oh, no, I'm never going to say that.
No?
It was, like, insurance.
Oh, okay,
like, insurance stuff. But
selling something.
Yeah. But it was,
That's amazing.
Yeah, but no, that life was... I tried, like, studying for it. So it was, like, he gave me, like, office space to, like, try and, like, study for the insurance. Like, nah, I wasn't doing that stuff. Right, so I was in Lyons for a while. And then... my study permit. Oh, no, I didn't have my work permit yet, but I was still waiting for my work permit.
Yeah.
So then I can't remember what happened, but I had some time off. I just said I got some time off, and how it works in sales is that like when you sell stuff, you get paid when it gets delivered.
I've heard that.
So
which sucks.
Yeah, but if you have some time off. And you schedule a lot of your deliveries when you're off, like, because they deduct, like, so basically how it works is that, like, right up until the point your stuff gets delivered, they pay you minimum wage, and then you pay back whatever is left, and then you get some of your money. So once you finish paying them all your stuff, then, so it takes you months before it's actually making, like, money in sales, like, almost a year sometimes.
Jeez.
So, luckily enough, because I was not working, the minimum wage they were paying me wasn't like getting deducted, so I had a bunch of stuff scheduled for delivery. Mm-hmm. So I just was like, yo, my mental health was like down the drain there because I didn't love what I was doing.
Of course not.
And thinking about that was actually a chill job. Like half the time you can make 2 sales in the first 30 minutes and you can just like chill out the rest of the day as long as you meet like your target, right? You're fine. And it's like a turn system. So like, someone walks in, there's a list, the bell comes on, like in the staff room, there's a TV there, you can have your phone, you can have your computer there if you want, you can put a PS, like, you do whatever you want, right? And if one person walks in, if you're in the top of the list, you go sell to the person, everyone else just kind of hangs out. And it could go like 3 hours, no one walks in, so everyone just kind of hanging out. On the computer, all you really do is like schedule your delivery. Yeah. But if nothing is, that's the only job in which there's literally nothing to do, and you can't just come up with stuff to do.
No, you can't make work.
You can't make work. You can't arrange stuff. You can't like there's someone
it's
like
already set a certain way.
Yeah, there's always someone that's someone else's job. You can't go to the warehouse.
Yeah.
You just sit there.
Oh man.
Yeah, like especially if you have all your stuff scheduled for delivery. Mm-hmm. Most you can do is like research stuff, but like after like a month there, you kind of know
like everything.
Everything.
See, eh?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah, I hung out. I talked to a bunch of people there. All of them were cool. Yeah. Different age ranges, you know what I mean? So it was a lot of stories from especially the older guys. Mm-hmm. It was like actually cool. Like I basically just hung out like kind of like my friends, I guess. I don't say I was like close to them. Bunch of like older guys, a bunch of unks, you know what I mean? So that's how that was, and but I was hella depressed during that then. Right, because
it's COVID too. You're like, oh, I don't like this.
And like home people are so chill, bro. Yeah. Oh my god. Because I was actually good at that job. I was really good. Yeah. Right.
What were you doing there?
Oh, so I started
a bunch of things.
So I started off at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
For the summer, so I was seasonal for 3 months. Sick. And I worked in the seasonal department. I worked a lot. Oh, that's
awesome.
And then, some of my closest friends till today, I met them there.
Seasonal department.
All of them.
All of them. Okay, yeah.
But I remember seasonal department. I worked there. And it was like a bunch of students that got hired with me were like at Laurentian too, and I knew like 2 of them. So it was super chill. So I worked my ass off there, and then they had contract for like mill work part time. Mm-hmm. So I get into the mill work. So I was like designing doors and windows, selling.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it was super. The software is like super user friendly. You just need to know like just like dimensions, no, like just ask them the right questions.
Yeah,
right?
stuff you can figure out pretty quick. Yeah.
Because I like homeowners don't know details about like the country. They don't know like if it's a 2x6 or 2x4 on their walls. Like they don't really know, but that stuff I had to ask them for the door, right? Just little stuff like that. So I had to tell them to go back and measure.
Because they could say the wall's 6 inches, and then they could say it's 6, but it's actually not.
Yeah.
Because it's a 2x4 they use, but it's a half-inch drywall on either side. So yeah, it's weird.
So you can start asking them all these detailed questions because
interesting.
Like for the regular doors, like the premium ones, it was chill, but it was always the special design ones that I had issues with. But so there was that. Then I ended up working hardware.
Yep.
And lumber. I think I worked every department besides electrical and cash. Yeah, I think on customer. I didn't do. Oh no, I did like 1 or 2 shifts in customer service actually. Yeah. But I ended up working a lot of places because my supervisor for Millwork ended up going to ProDesk.
Oh, okay.
Got supervisor there, and then he was like, "Oh, James, I like the way you work. Come work ProDesk." So ProDesk is also in charge of tour rental. So I worked a lot of tour rental right before I left, which was the best thing because there's like 100 tours. After a while, you kind of know what they need. You know how to clean it. Kind of learn how to fix like nail guns and stuff like that.
Small stuff that they need done. Yeah.
Yeah, and like in winter it was dead.
Yeah.
Like no one was getting no one's getting a backhoe or anything in winter. It was always like small, like just like nail guns and like interior stuff, right?
Yeah, easy stuff.
And like if we didn't have it, we didn't have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Super chill. We had a TV in there. Supervisors never walked in. So so we had 2 computers. One for cash. The other one was just for like something else. So I always had like highlight soccer game going on in there.
Of course, yeah.
Customers walk in and you're helpful and the game's going on. I don't know, maybe because it's a tool rental area, like they just assume, this is what happens in tour. No one thinks it's unprofessional or anything, right?
Dude, I go into tool rental. Now I buy them, but when I was doing that, I've gone in once a week for like 2 months straight. I had to go in and out, no problem, easy. Do not care what you're doing. Yeah. As long as I get my tool and it works.
That's why I love it. That's why I
really
love it.
They don't. Contractors don't care. I don't care who's winning, what game is playing.
Yeah.
You can have whatever you want playing, do whatever you want, as long as I get my tool and it works.
Dude, and most people were actually cool. Like.
Yeah.
So I did that, and because I worked ProDesk, I had to like talk to the whole contractor. So I had to like. Nice. It was kind of hard at first because I had to like actually learn stuff quickly, and everyone around me was like super experienced, like former contractors. So a guy. Yep. It's a guy. I don't say his name there, but he was like really good at that job and Duke can remember everything. One of those guys that like he just has a super brain.
Yeah, he just knows some things.
He just knows some stuff, and like he was a very good people person. So he had a nickname for every contractor. So there's like high, so they had like high expectations for like because I was in ProDesk. So they said schedule me there alone, like Saturdays and stuff.
And you're like, whoa.
Yeah, and ProDesk closed at I think 4:30.
Nice.
So it was always like 7 to like 4:30. Like my schedule was like actually like consistent.
Amazing.
So, but because I was ProDesk, I ended up like kind of subbed in for everyone everywhere. But at that time, like I could work. I had all the licenses for like all the saws, key cutter, all the machines, forklift certified, by the way.
Let's go! That's huge, man. I love it. I love it. Oh, that's awesome.
So that was like, I love that job, dude. It was so cool. I honestly think I should never have left. I should never have left, dude.
But dude, you're selling it to me now too,
dude. Bro, if like, cause you do a lot of like construction and handyman stuff, right? So if you want to retire,
that's actually dead ass what I was about to tell you. I was like, when I retire, that's like me and a bunch of people I know. That's the plan.
Dude, there's so many guys.
Just go cruising. Yeah.
Retired guys that were like they had their companies.
Yeah,
just
man.
Vibing, bro.
We've been in there every day. We know exactly where everything is.
Dude,
people come to me when I'm looking for things in Home Depot.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, sir, and I'm like, I don't work here. And they're like, no, but you look like you know what you're looking for.
You do look like you know what you're looking for. You have one of those, like, you have that aura, you know?
Yeah. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I don't know. We don't have to even cut that part out. But yeah, it was, man, like, I'll go and I'll go, know what I'm looking for, and then I'll even just be searching there, like, oh, you seem like I move a bit faster than most people in home, like than some people. Like,
oh yeah.
Those are like, it's like, okay, I'm in there, I know what I'm going, because as soon as I start window shopping, dude, 3 hours gone. Dude, no problem.
You have your steel toes on when you're going there, right?
Of course, dude.
That's why, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Especially if there's like a little paint on it.
Not a child, dude.
You're like, yeah, okay, that guy.
You seen those things?
Yeah, bro.
Dude, unlaced.
Dude, those are seasoned boots, bro.
Yeah.
That's like I know what I'm doing boots.
Yeah.
So I could talk about Home Depot for a long time though.
That's awesome.
So like like some of my best friends until today.
I love it.
So I met them there and they still work there. So
Yeah.
so I did Home Depot for a while. Then so back to like Leon's, right?
Yeah.
So I took some time off. I was getting stuff delivered, so I knew I was fine for money. Now this is where like mental health thing like came into play. That's why I really appreciate that like episode I kind of helped produce with you.
Yeah, with Michael Zach and
Mike
I.
and yeah. So
Yeah,
because it was like even back to that. Oh, I will tell you afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, please.
So with that, like mentally, I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. The stress about like getting permanent residency was like growing. Just like just so much uncertainty because like okay, all this money spent for my education, like
Yeah.
what am I doing with my life? So I remember at that time, what was really kind of like messing with me was that like even though I was working, like Leon's full time, I was like spending my nights learning how to like learn like coding for data analysis. So I was learning like SQL, Tableau, all this stuff, and I registered for a course, and I was like every day 8 o'clock till like 11. Now I remember we're doing like 12 hours at Leon's because you only work 4 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would do that, and I'll come back home, and then even my days off, that's all I was doing, like learning how to code. Like, okay, this can't be my life. I have an economics degree. I need to like get in a position where I can make like good money. You know what I mean? And I knew like okay, I wanted to work in something in which like because I could do stuff with stats because economics gave me some confidence that okay, if I have to like learn stats or learn how to, I can figure it out, right? So I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. But like I didn't really know anyone in that industry, so I was just like off of YouTube. So I was in this cycle of like YouTube and watching all these videos on how to, and like it became overwhelming mentally, right? Like sensory overload, like all this.
Yeah, it's a lot of information.
All this information. But like I was progressing, and I felt like some level of accomplishment, but I was so unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, this whole like film was this was back of my head, right? Because like once in a while, I'll kind of help out with like Jerry stuff, but like the ambition to do film just wasn't there because it didn't feel like real to me. I felt like a fraud around other film people. Like they were film people. Like they wanted to be directors, producers, like writers. You know what I mean? And when I got there, like I remember Ben Paquet, that was a former dean of the program. He was like, "Oh, James, in economics, you could probably get great producers." In my head, I was like, "Yeah, that's probably what I could do, right?" So and like they're all super supportive. They always like rope me into stuff, call me, right? So but like mentally, it was like there's too much going. I didn't know like there's so many like things I could do, but I wasn't really good at anything.
Yeah.
So
it's a weird spot to be in.
So I remember like the film one was the one that held the most weight in me. So I was like, okay, I gotta drop it because like financially this is not really gonna help me out. And I was already thinking, okay, like I have a girlfriend, like I would eventually like will get married, like want to get a house. I need to like figure out a way to like do sustain this thing and like actually build a life, right?
Yeah.
So I told myself, okay, I'm gonna sell my camera, right? And I'm just gonna drop film and then maybe go full send on this like data analysis stuff because I was getting good at it. I was like, okay, everywhere I was seeing was like, oh, data analysis jobs here, this, that, and I was applying, dude. I was taking like courses, I was doing all this stuff. I was working on a portfolio. I remember one of my good friends, Sean. Shout out to Sean.
Love Sean, yeah.
He was like helping me out because he kind of got into like a similar field and like he showed me how to do like a portfolio, right? So I remember the day I got this like realization. Okay, I'm gonna drop this film stuff. I need to let go of this dream.
Yeah.
And focus on this other dream of like having a good like stable life.
For sure.
Right. So, I was hella depressed. I was staying at home. That day I woke up early, cleaned up, made breakfast, went to the gym.
Everything right.
Everything right.
Let's go.
Alright, so dude, World Gym downtown. So I'm walking to World Gym. I'm in the complex or whatever. I stopped at Dollarama to get water because I had to get it because I left my bottle at home.
Yeah.
And I get a call, dude. So I get a call from this guy, Mark. So I met Mark like the summer before.
Sure.
One of my film friends, she left Laurentian, went to like I think Ryerson, or what's it called now? Not Ryerson, but
I don't know, U of T maybe. I don't
Toronto
know.
Metropolis.
Some nonsense, yeah.
Metropolitan
Doesn't
something,
matter.
right? So she introduced me to Mark. We're at CNE. the carnival, and my older brother lives the one that did the aerospace engineering. He lives in Toronto now.
Love it.
Right, that's a guy you want to talk. Like
that's a smart guy. Yeah.
I'll show you after this.
I love it.
Coolest guy I know.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Right.
I love it.
So me and him, we link up with my friend Caroline. She works for like a production company. She's like a production coordinator or something like that in the office, production assistants, right? So I met Mark, and Mark was like, I told Mark, like, by the time I see like the drive for film, it was like, oh, I'm in film, I'm in Sudbury. It's like, oh yeah,
I still want to do it.
Still want to do it. So I met him, I gave him my contact info and everything. We had a great day at like CNE. I ended up linking up with one of my other buddies that from Laurentian that was in town, and dude, little side thing, I'm standing there with my older brother. We're in front of like the BMO's like stadium.
Yeah, nice.
Right?
So exactly where that is.
Dude, this one guy walks by. If you watch the game, I'm a CNE, right? There's a soccer game going on. Yeah. He leaves the game, walking with his buddy. I contacted the guy. I'm like, yo. So I call his name. And I dap him up and stuff. And like, we're looking at each other. We went to the same elementary school.
Yeah. Again.
Dude, we went to the same elementary school, bro. And he was just like casually there.
Casually strolling on Lakeshore, right?
Yeah, we follow each other, and he's like one of those guys like he's doing stuff in Toronto. It's like he's doing like cool stuff. And at that time, my Instagram was popping, bro. Like I was a photographer at school. I was posting film stuff, so like my Instagram was kind of popping too, right? So like, so it's like he kind of knew who I was.
Yeah, so anybody stayed in touch with you would know what you're doing.
Yeah, especially people back from like Nigeria and stuff.
For sure.
So, but a lot of them were in Canada now, or in the US or UK.
Somewhere in this side.
This is somewhere out here, right? So I just chopped it up with him. It was just like a weird side thing. I didn't talk to him after that.
I love it.
But it was a kind of cool moment. So I talked to this Mark guy. Then back to now.
Yeah.
Gym. Pull myself out of depression or whatever.
Yeah,
Gatorade. I get a call from Mark saying, "Dude, we need a BTS photographer for this movie." I was like, "When?"
Amazing.
Today. I went back home. I was like, yo, I can be in 2 hours. I go back home.
You were about to sell your camera.
I was about to sell my fucking camera. Like, you understand? Selling my camera was like the push I needed to make to like finalize that. Like, I am giving up on film.
It's like there's one last thing. You shouldn't do that.
Dude.
Right? That's what that call was.
That's
what
that call was.
Don't do that. That made that decision for you.
Oh my God, bro.
Whoa.
So.
Today.
Dude. So.
Jeez.
This experience is like what really changed my life, honestly.
Oh, I love it.
That same day, Mark calls me. It's like, oh, we need a BTS photographer. I was like, okay, I can be there. I told him what camera and lens I had. I was like, okay, that's good enough. Amazing. Pull up. So I go back home. I didn't go to the gym for that. So I go back home, grab my camera, grab all my lenses. I zoom off to the location, right? I worked there. I made this. So now this was a Toronto production for Nigerian film.
Amazing.
With a Nigerian director, but it was like a Toronto production, right? Yeah. And that film now is doing great.
Amazing.
Like Paramount bought it. It's on Paramount. Like it's crazy, right?
What's it called?
Aura.
AU?
No, OR.
Yeah.
AH.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
On Paramount Plus.
Yeah, dude.
And you did BTS
photography.
Photos for it. Photography for it.
So like on their social media and everything, like all my stuff, right? So
damn, dog.
So it was like a cool and I ended up like
that's cool.
So I went to do like we need it for 2 days or something like. So I get it 2 days and then come to me and they're like, oh yeah, director really likes what you're doing. Can you just stay for the rest of the film? So now I'm there for a month. Working this film.
And you were gonna freaking sell your camera.
I was gonna sell my camera, bro.
Like, the same day.
Same day. Like that's one of the craziest things.
And then it's like, hey, month and a half here, or for like over a month here.
I'm just using it.
You're just using it every single day.
Every day,
filming.
Right? So
amazing.
So I'm like, okay, this is sick. So this is sick. So I'm like,
yeah. If the universe doesn't work, and people are like universe, there's no such thing. I'm like, well, works in mysterious ways, man. Yeah. That's crazy.
So I ended up, I took my camera. I'm like, okay, my camera like wasn't even good. I was like, okay, this isn't like best. So so at the time I had Jerry's camera with me. Right. Because at the time I was still doing, I had a side gig of taking pictures at one of the bars downtown. Mm-hmm. Right. So I was taking pictures there, and I think this is what probably led up to like my burnout. It was just, like I was working like it's 40 hours. Then every weekend I was like taking pictures at night.
Yeah. Where are you sleeping? You don't.
I like besides Sunday. Right?
Yeah, and I'm sure you have to edit everything.
Oh, dude, man, like it was crazy. Like I wasn't meeting up with deadlines. I was like, I fell into this cycle of like taking a lot of responsibility, and then I just put so much stuff on my plate.
It happens, yeah.
And then it was like that's even a problem for me to today. Like I'm working on that now, and
That's what causes that lack of motivation thing that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Right? It's like that happens to me too.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like pacing yourself is something that like is key.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually how we can do the best you can do. You can actually do the best you can to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So that was going. So I ended up using this camera. Talked to him. We actually figured stuff out. Then figured out payments. I eventually like became part of the crew. So then I went from like being this outside photographer to being part of the crew. The experience was great because the director was Nigerian. It was a Nigerian story. The director of photography, this dude from Toronto, great guy. Then the rest of the camera crew guys was a dude from Ghana, a Nigerian dude, and a kid from Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
Cool freaking guys, dude.
Yeah, I bet.
Cool guys. I ended up like bonding with them, and they were teaching me a lot. And then I ended up like, because I told them, okay, I want to get into camera work in film. Like that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, yeah, we hear you. We're gonna show you stuff. So like, first 2 weeks I was BTS. Last 2 weeks I was like second assistant camera on like second camera unit. So there's like scenes in which like I pulled focus.
Still on like aura and stuff like that.
Yeah, same film. So I ended up like moving to kind of a different role unofficially.
Yeah.
But like on the credits they won't say that, but like in the crew that it was known. Okay, I was.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember the last day I was doing the slate. I was like straight up second assistant camera. I was doing slate for it. It was crazy.
Whoa.
Switching out lenses, pulling focus for a scene. I remember we had to like kind of wrap up like a specific scene.
Yeah.
And then like we're at downtown. Basically like cops kind of shut down downtown for us for a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's an extra scene that we missed. So they're like, okay, Timmy was the second like the Steadicam op.
Mm-hmm.
And I think second unit camera operator. So it was like, okay, you grab a crew. Like, okay, James, let's go. So I ended up being assistant camera for that little shot.
Start the car, yeah.
Bro, so it was cool. I was like, okay, dude, I'm actually getting this stuff done.
Yeah.
So that kind of motivated. I kind of stayed in contact with a couple of people there.
Yeah.
Even like the producer, some of the producers there, I kind of stayed in contact with them, and like it just that drove me. Like I remember like we're like wrapping up a scene we shot at the parking lot of the police station. I remember like I saw a video on my phone of us like wrapping up, putting the cameras away. Now this is like a big budget film.
Yeah.
Like the cameras were
like millions of dollars.
Yes.
Worth of film.
Yeah, like, this was a big film, right? So
higher or lower than like 25 million for budget. Lower, yeah.
Yeah.
Close to 10.
I believe so.
Yeah.
It gotta be.
Insane.
Like the caliber of people that worked on that film.
Mm-hmm.
Like the actors that were in there. Like I think she, the main actress, I think she was on Star Trek.
Yeah.
A couple of like they were.
Yeah, they were good.
They were good.
Jeez.
Right, so I worked on this. I remember like wrapping up one of the days. We're packing up camera stuff and like bumping some Nigerian music with the guys. Like it felt like such a vibe. I was like, yo, this guy. So I remember.
I love it.
We're shooting a scene. We did like a couple of days at College around like where like around the area where that place was, and I remember I was like, I gotta get a camera guys at my place. So during like lunch afterwards, I brought them over to my place because it was right beside College around.
Yeah,
and
right
then
there.
we just get them some beers.
Yeah.
Like just hung out, right?
Yeah.
Just to create a memory and stuff, right? So it was like great experience. A month before I was like, yo, screw this film stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm in that. Then after that, I remember the last day of shoot we were at downtown, right by the architecture building.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the name of the place, but it's like where they sell like office supplies.
Kearney's?
Something like this. Building right beside the architecture building.
Not Page's office supplies. Page's maybe? Or no, it's Kearney's.
Yeah.
It's gotta be Kearney's. It's yellow?
Yeah.
Then it's Kearney's office
Yeah,
supplies.
it's on Elm. Right? Yeah, so we're in there.
Yeah.
On top of that, just had like empty office spaces, so we like rented it out for like crew and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So we did that, and I remember the next day, we wrapped. The next day was my sister's graduation.
Amazing, yeah.
And I remember...
Timed well.
Oh, it's perfect. I remember we were finished wrapping at 4 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
My flight to her graduation was at 8.
Oh.
And originally I wasn't going to go because I was like, oh, this is crazy. I didn't have the money. You know what I mean? Like all the stuff for delivery, I didn't deliver it yet.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I'm working on this film and I just get a bunch of money.
A bunch of money right away.
Right? Like good money. I was like, oh wow, okay, boom, I'm buying it. But I didn't tell her, so I just kind of showed up.
Amazing.
She was like,
she was loving it.
She was pumped.
Yeah.
So I showed up with
awesome.
no sleep. I changed to the outfit I wore in the Uber. Like, so I grabbed my backpack.
Yeah.
Just because I was gonna be there for like 3 days or 2 days. Right? I grabbed my backpack. My dad was there. My entire family was there. Besides one of my brothers. And I get there and the graduation is already going on. So like the actual ceremony already happened, but then there was like the after where they all like hang out, take pictures with their gown and stuff. So I'm in the cab in the Uber from the airport to school, which was like 7 minutes away. So I actually changed in the back of the Uber, right? And I had my backpack with me. I remember I just walked up and she was like super shocked that I was there. My oldest brother was there. My parents were there.
They're loving it.
So it was great. It was great. It was a great time. It was like I went from being this like, and at that time I was kind of isolated from everyone because like when you're going through stuff like you don't want to like
almost burden them. A little bit.
Like you think that's what you're doing, but you're actually not.
Man.
But like that's how our minds work, and like I don't know. I just feel like I just want to be kind of away from all this stuff. So, but it was good seeing them and like being able to like talk to my parents and have such a good experience to talk about and like a learning opportunity like made me feel. I feel like they instead of being worried about me, they were like happy for me. Yeah. So it was a very good thing, and then got this like good sum of money. So at the time, my whole family, they were in Ottawa. My sister's graduation. Next day we had dinner with her and some of her friends. So I think we were there for like 3 days. And then my parents were going to Calgary to go see my dad's siblings and like their kids. Like I have a huge family in Calgary. By the way, like that. Shout out Tupper. Right? So that's my cousin.
I love it.
And Wale too, bro. Like
shout out to him, man.
So I love those guys. So basically, so my dad and my mom, I think my sister too, we were all going over there just because like sister graduated. She took time off work and stuff. Go spend some time there, and I was like, I can't afford to go. So I go, okay, guys, I'm going with you guys. Yeah. So I just buy a ticket. Amazing. When I'm hanging out with, I just go spend time with my family in Calgary, and while I'm there, I'm talking to Jerry. So I'm talking to Jerry. I explained this whole thing to him, and I'm asking him, okay, so now I want to buy a new camera. Yeah. So he tells me the camera he's using. I was like, I need something that's good for like, for video and photos. So he tells me, and I buy a camera while I'm there because taxes and stuff, right? Yeah. So I buy a camera there. Like 2 months before that, I was gonna sell my camera, but I ended up buying a new one. Love it. Good experience. But when I'm there, in my head, I'm still like, okay, I gotta get my permanent residency. So I'm applying to banks, right? Because economics, bank, like good money, and at the same time,
so it's cheaper for you to buy a new camera in Nigeria.
No, Calgary.
Wait, Calgary, kid. That's what I thought. You said taxes, so I wasn't sure. I was like, oh, if you came from Sudbury, that. Sorry.
No, the taxes there are like in Calgary.
Calgary taxes are that much. Yeah. Different than Ontario? Yeah. Man, I don't know nothing.
Oh, I think
that's crazy.
I think they don't pay one. I don't want to like say something that sounds too dumb, but I know like the taxes are way cheaper there.
Okay, that's why I was confused. I was like, maybe it's in my head. Like, okay.
So I saved a couple. Like it wasn't that much, but I saved like a good sum of money.
Yeah, or like 12%, 15%.
I don't know the actual numbers, but yeah, it was
probably there. Jeez.
But it was like I saved some just buying camera there. Nice. So I got a camera and so I'm applying to banks, by the way. So I'm applying to banks. I get a call from the bank I ended up working at, and they call me while I'm in Calgary. And I'm like, and I had no timeline of when I was gonna leave Calgary, to be honest with you. I was like, I'm gonna just like hang out with my family for a little bit. And my cousin is doing like creative stuff out there too, so I was like, okay, let me try and link up with him. He does music and stuff, so like maybe I can work some stuff out with him. But like, so just timeline wise, stuff wasn't working out with him then. It was just like too busy. I was just like always eating at my grandma's house. Yeah. Because she can cook.
Yeah. Fills the plate.
Oh my goodness, dude. She's a full-time caterer, bro. Like.
No way.
She's a goat, bro. She's a goat like cooking. So. So I get a call from the bank, and I'm like, okay, this stuff is working out. So in my head, I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay working at the bank, and then I just slowly work on this camera stuff.
Yeah, so, fund the passion.
So I was like buying gear, buying lights, with man. Bank. So I get a job at the bank. I'm working there, and so in my head, so that's my plan. Yeah, I work at the bank, work to get my permanent residency, and then make some good money to like fund this career I want to do. Of course. And then the thing about it is like, so the camera thing was that like I wanted to join the camera union, but you have to be Canadian or permanent resident to join camera union. So I couldn't join the union, but they're like, okay, there are other ways around it, right? So I was like, I'll just work independent stuff. I'll do non-union stuff. I'll kind of just if you like really want to learn and you don't BS people, they will like have you on, especially if you have some experience, right?
Oh, cool.
So I was getting like little gigs like here and there. Like Jerry was kind of doing more like video stuff, so I was working with him. It was
Nice.
like, it was working out. It was working out.
Yeah.
And then I was getting confidence to like kind of reach out to people and kind of do my own thing, right?
Yeah.
So making some money here and there, and then it was just scheduling with the bank, and bank became stressful.
Yeah.
Became stressful, right? Yeah, that job was so stressful, dude.
Yeah, just dealing with
It's just people.
dealing with the people of it, eh?
Like people, the company.
Broke people.
Not even that, man. It's just everyone, bro. Like just like some for people. It's just people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how it goes.
And, and the system.
I do, yeah.
And like there's the system of the bank. It's just a lot. It just wasn't vibing with my energy.
For sure.
And so yeah, it was definitely like tougher than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that for 2 years, and I left in August last year. So I had to make a change, but it was more than just like career change. It was like a whole like, let me evaluate my life. How am I approaching things? How am I doing things?
Yeah.
So I got into therapy then, and I still am.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of made me like slow down my life a bit. So
Smart. Yeah.
So in August I stopped working at the bank, and then I just kind of took some time off, and I was working some like film stuff and like marketing stuff with a bunch of people I'm like close with.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm friends with them and I love them, so it was so easy for me to do that stuff. So I was working with that, and then that's how I get a call from a friend about like a prof I used to have that needed help on the set. So I show up, work with them. I meet all these other film people.
No kidding.
Yeah, I meet all these other film people. So I work on a short film with them, and they're so supportive. So
Nice.
so that like sparked it back in me. Okay, let me like. So I started like doing more research into like cinematographers, like styles.
Yeah.
And then I started making like little small videos, just
Nice.
practicing and just shooting stuff, and then got a book on writing to improve my writing, because I knew I had the stories, but I needed a way to like write it out. So like
script it and stuff properly.
yeah. So that's where I'm really at. So like I started doing that, and it's been like I'm just being super patient with it. I'm like, because I already know I got the photography stuff down, right? I knew I have experience like video with the camera, but now I want to like build something for myself, right? So it's like I'm in that space right now in which like I'm taking my time with it. And I am learning, but at the same time, I'm working jobs with people here now. I'm only taking jobs I know I can handle now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes I kind of overestimate, like, cause
for sure. But you need to push a little bit to find out how much you can handle, right?
Yeah, so I think it's not even like the technicality of the job. It's just like, am I pushing too much, knowing that like I only have this much time? Do I overestimate how much time I can really put into this now? But it's one of those things that like I am. Right now, I feel like I'm better at prioritizing, like taking care of myself, eating right, like taking care of my body, being social, kind of getting like a full control of it. And like I link back up, like going back to church and trying to connect to God, in which like I feel like I am like more like centered, I guess. That sounds like super hippie, but like
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Grounded, whatever it might be.
Yeah, that's a good grounded, and so that's where I'm at now. So I'm just like grateful.
Nice.
I'm like very grateful for anything, and that's how I like. So during my time at the bank, I was talking to you about this before, about the community builders, like like a training program I'm in right now, and it's like construction, right? And then, so the reason why people ask me like, why are you doing this? If you're my friend, why am I doing this? I'm like,
it's
like,
interesting.
It's interesting, and like it makes sense for me now. This is my rationale.
Okay.
It's my rationale for everything, right? So it's like, I grew up wanting to do architecture, right? And then the part of film that like I felt that I was trusted with was like the electrical and grip side. So that's like the construction side that goes beyond like setting up like a set, setting up lighting, building walls, even the scenic stuff, like building the sets, like, you know, that kind of stuff, right? And doing that stuff, and then it was just, and I love working with my hands. Like sitting behind the desk for so long. The only time I can sit down behind the desk and like feel like I'm doing something, I'm like super focused if I'm editing something.
Yeah.
Right? Like I can edit for hours, I can do graphic design stuff for hours, like I don't mind doing that, but like working behind the back, no, that was not for me at all. So like I a client tells me about this. I'm like, so I apply. So I missed the first deadline for the one for the one for the summer, and then for the one for the fall I missed that. But then winter one rolls up, so I apply. I get into the program. So within 3 weeks now, we just finished our third week, and like I love this stuff.
I love that stuff.
Oh
Man.
my god!
Yeah.
Like, if
Amazing.
if I knew, I was just like going to carpentry.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Amazing.
Then I'm going to first. I don't think I was going to university, honestly. I was going to carpentry, and like taking something like architectural technology or like architectural design or technician. Yeah. And then just worked on films. Because I don't think you need to go to film school. I honestly don't think you need to go to film school. It helped me because I met people and I kind of knew what to do. But I feel like if you just work on a set and talk to someone, you can point in the right direction. Yeah. Of what you need to do to learn. Because I feel like film is one of those things that you learn by doing more than anything else.
For sure.
So I can't go back in the past, but like so where I'm at right now is like I'm taking this program because in my head I'm like mapping things out more, and I'm actually writing it down. Like, okay, if I build up the skills, I'll be able to like set up in a way where I can, like, my friends need to work on films. I can help like kind of increase the quality of like the sets. I love it. I can help do some stuff. I'm more comfortable like with the grip stuff, with the electrical stuff. I have more understanding of all those things, and working in your hands, it's like time goes by so fast.
Dude, it's amazing.
It's like a little workout.
It's wild.
It's like a therapy. I've never once, even though I'm waking up earlier now. Yeah. I'm never once thinking, oh my god, I gotta worry about this client. Oh, did this money clear? This check cleared? Like, oh god, what's that's gonna happen? Oh, I hope like the money was done well. Yeah. Yeah. It's signed it off. Yeah. Money again. So that's why, and the program is good because they have like links with like the film union. They come talk to us, the carpenters union, and I'm learning so much. And like even they have someone from Scion. That's like a film community here that kind of helps people that are not really into film get into film. They kind of help out with Cinefest and stuff. Yeah. So I think one of the coordinators, Jody, she was on there, and she kind of gave me a bunch of advice. She's a good contact to have now. So it's like it's good. And like the actual film union, IATSE. They come in sometime. I get to talk to one of the coordinators there too. Just amazing. I did join IATSE as a permit, so now I'm a trainee now with them, or permits, meaning like you're not full member, but you can like do jobs under them, and once you reach a number of hours, you can then join. Oh, okay. So I did one film with them.
Nice, and that's not quite the union.
It is the union. Yeah. That's the film union. Okay, that's what. So that's the film union in for Northern Ontario. So IATSE is like the general film union. So I think it's 634. That's the Northern Ontario one. Okay. For Ottawa and Northern Ontario. Yeah. So all the films are on there. They send out like emails. Okay, we need this crew member, and because I'm a permit, I mostly get daily, so you work day to day, or if I'm lucky, you can get a couple days or like a full set, right? So I worked at, and this was all since like I think October when I actually joined, and like joining that was like a whole process. I had to like take a course in BC because I really wanted to do it. They were doing free ones here, but I didn't want to wait till like fall. I wanted to get it right away. Yeah, right away. For sure. So I told them if I do like a orientation course, I took one from BC's union. And then they accepted it, so I joined the... Epic. Yeah, so as I joined that, so I get, like, all this information. I have, like, my own profile, and I can check when, like, a movie shooting and anything. That's easy. So I get emails, like, I do a couple times a week. Oh, perfect. So, yeah. So, like, I'm getting, like, there's more structure to it now. But, like, with this program, it's perfect because it's, like, all these different worlds I have lived in is all coming together, and like there's something cooking there. There's something cooking there, and there's freedom to it mentally, in which like now I'm spending more time like writing stuff, doing camera work, like personally, like shooting stuff, and like my end goal is like having a production company. Amazing. But that involves working with people, and like the people I've met in Sudbury that are doing things, it'd be good. It'd be like Sudbury's gonna become something in a couple years. Sudbury's gonna become something big in film. Yeah. Because there's something. It's on the track. Yeah. It's on the track. But seems like it. And the people I've met, like you know, when you run into a bunch of people, like like they have to make it.
Yeah.
There's no other option. Like someone
Right.
can't just be doing this and have this much energy and passion and they don't make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
eventually it'll work
eventually it's
out.
gonna work out. So that's where I'm at. And
Yeah.
like those are like people I want you to meet. Like there's,
Yeah,
like,
for
there's some
sure.
stories that like some of them have that they need a platform like this to like
Yeah,
talk about it.
man, yeah, it sounds amazing. Which is why one of the like nice little side things about starting the show is that like there are people that do have these things that, like you for example, this whole story, right? That I was like, yeah, man, like you who have this whole story that we've gone through, and then it's like, oh, that's how we got, oh, that's it, and then it's like, oh, also dealing with like the residency thing, also dealing with this, also dealing with that. It's like it's interesting to hear. It's really cool. It's fascinating to me to see how kind of everything pieces out and be like, oh, these are the signs that got you to like why those are the decisions you made, and then these are the phone calls that said, no, you're supposed to be doing this.
Yeah,
Bring you back, you know.
Yeah, I think I just say it's just God. God was like telling me like, don't do it, like
He's like, no, wait,
don't let this go. It's crazy because like even my church now, I did like training for sound.
Yeah.
Training for like just camera with the church to kind of do like video coordinator.
Amazing.
So my goal is to like eventually like volunteer like as much as I can with the church as well, and they also need help with like some construction stuff.
Yes, sir.
So it's like it's perfect. Like,
Light them up, yeah.
It's a perfect.
That's
setup,
awesome.
So yeah.
Nice, and yeah, you have like enough of both that you can piece together and build some stuff for people and make it cool.
Yeah.
So kind of almost to wrap this all up, do you have what is the next like? Is the next couple of years just like a grind and like take opportunities and manage everything? Like, what does the next couple of years look like?
Basically that. So next couple of years is so this stage right is just equipping myself with the knowledge like early on this year, having a structure, so having like my website
amazing by the way
done, and but like having an idea of like, oh, this is what I'm good at, and knowing and putting myself out there to get the stuff done,
right.
Then at the same time kind of building this idea for a company I want to like eventually have. Then so besides like the technical side, it's just me writing, like improving my writing as like a writer for scripts and stuff. Because I have a lot of stories. I have friends that want to like write stuff with me, and it's like I want to get it done right because I'm very that's one thing I learned about myself in this whole process. I'm very like technical when it comes to like the camera work. So like someone can tell me a script, I'm like, okay, the best I feel like the angle that can tell the story more is like have a wide shot, have this person in the first frame, have the movements. Like I find myself like watching, like I'm looking up the names of cinematographers and stuff, and like learning their techniques and stuff like that. So but like I also have that side too when it comes to the story. And I have friends, like I'll tell a friend about a film idea and they'll ask me, why is this character doing this? I'm like, let me think about that. So I feel like being a good writer in film is like a powerful tool because you can tell when something's good. You can express yourself in a way that's like it's more than just a good story. It'll be a good film. So I think that's where I'm at.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have like a overall maybe like message, lesson, or thing you kind of want to end on as like a note before I roll out the red carpet for you?
A good thing would be like find what you love and do it, man. Like find what you love, do it. Don't give up on yourself. Trust yourself.
Yeah.
And always be willing to learn.
I love it.
Yeah.
Right on. All right, James. So where can people find you? Where can people see your portfolios? Where can people reach out to you, connect with you? How does what's the best way to get in, see what you've done and get in touch?
Okay, right now, best thing is Instagram. I'll just I should put a link to my website on there.
Yeah.
So I'll just
I'll do that.
So James at James OLAGUNJU on Instagram. That'll be like the best thing. I'll put a link on my website there, just my portfolio, and you can check out the stuff I've done.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah, it's
right on.
Straight up.
Easy. I love it. Yeah, I'll make sure I put it in. I'll put everything in the description of video and.
Yeah, I'll also put my email. I'll put my like my filming email on there because that's the best way to reach out to me.
I love it. Yeah.
Email was the best way to get back to me.
That's awesome. Right on, brother. I appreciate you coming on the show, giving me a bunch of your time today.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Oh yeah,
bro.
absolutely, dude.
I appreciate it.
Let's go.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
That's
what
awesome.
are you doing here, bro?
Dude, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Fuck, I appreciate it. It's fucking, it's boogie.